Alright guys, I've never done it this way before, so hopefully we're good. Good morning, wherever you are. This is some Slime Forest at the top. I said that I was going to do some Cosmic Jive too, but guess what? Cosmic Jive is so big time that I can't play their music without getting claimed. So we got to talk to Cosmic Jive if you want to play some Cosmic Jive. Until then, little Slime Forest. Check out Slime Forest everywhere. Sorry, I'm tweeting everything out. You know how that goes. I've never actually heard this song. There you go. We get a new one every time. Isn't it great? Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. So I hope everyone is doing great today. We're live, baby. It's the Clout Route Morning Show. 10. This is 10. 10 of these I've done. So, geez Louise, you know, I never intended on streaming so much by myself, but here we go. It's been a blast. It's been a blast. So anyways, today it's kind of going to be like a debrief a little bit of what we talked about with Def Noodles. I mean, wow, what a day that was, right? I mean, if you would have asked me whenever that I was going to have a fucking Def Noodles interview, I wouldn't have guessed, but hey, 2023, new me, baby. We had Def Noodles on the pod. So yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about that. I want to look at some stuff in reference to that. We'll look at some chat, some interactions I've had online since the Def Noodles whole thing. You know, we'll hang out, we'll talk about some stuff, and then hopefully we get a call in here, and this call in should be my friend Stephen Marcus Releford, the person we were actually talking about, you know, in terms of he's pissed off at Def for getting fired and shafted and yada yada, and we'll get into all that. I don't know how long he plans on staying and talking, so depending on it, it might be a quick interview where we just get right into it and fucking that's that. I ask him a few questions about the Def stuff and he clears that up and that'll be that. Or hopefully what I'm hoping is that he has a little time to hang out and I can ask him a whole bunch of stuff. It'll be fun. So anyways, at the top here, and again, like, surreal is kind of what I said. Like, it's weird having Dennis on the pod to talk, and I know everybody has their opinion about the everybody seemed to like the interview, so I'm glad to hear that. Thank you, everybody, for your feedback. A lot of people, though, had criticisms of Dennis's responses, and I can't help that. So, you know, some people thought I should push a little harder on certain things. There's a few things I missed, which Steven will be here to clear up, I think, including like how much he got paid and whatnot, yada, yada. So, or if he got paid at all. And yeah, we'll talk about all of it. But at the very top, again, I mean, shameless plug, it always is. I want to play one of the clips that kind of started it all for me with, or us with Dennis and Steven even, because guess what? Steven even, he is in this clip here. So let's listen.
Yo, Dennis and Steven, shout out Clout Route podcast. Hey, shout out to your podcast.
Hey.
Shout out to Clout Route.
Shout out to Clout Route.
LOL-LMFAO, bro, brah, dude.
So that's the shout out. I didn't show the clip. I should have showed it. Here, we can watch it again. Fuck it. Sorry, I'm
A viral Keemstar clip.
Oh, we're not watching all my TikToks.
Yo, Dennis and
That's
Steven,
for sure.
shout out Clout Route podcast. Hey, shout out to your podcast.
Hey.
Shout out to Clout Route.
Shout out to Clout Route.
LOL-LMFAO, bro, brah, dude.
So, I mean, like I said, we have an extensive history with Dennis and Steven and all that jazz. That's a way back. And Jordan Peterson, apparently. He didn't like that clip. So, anyways, I wanted to show that at the top because I just love that. That's back when they were tight, dude. That's back when they were doing the show together, how things were supposed to be. I think back then, even when I did that, they were like kind of up and I don't know what you say, up and coming, but I think they were like rising in terms of how it was working. You know, I thought Steven was shining on the show. Corey really helped Dennis out, kind of shape that whole thing. It was funny for a second. So anyways, yes, that's the beginning of the Clout Route and Steven Marcus Releford and Def Noodles. Now, what really, I think, turned the tides and got us on a certain vibe with old Dennis, I think, was the Salvo of it all. And I think things really changed for Dennis when this happened. Now, I don't want to attribute it to like Salvo or anything, but I really think that something about this event like dark timelined it for Dennis, I feel like. So let's watch. It's been a while since I've watched this. Well, maybe not that long. I watched it in preparation, obviously. Bitch. But the funny thing is like, I think Steven's here somewhere, maybe, and I'll ask him about this clip in particular. You see Dennis right there. Corey's definitely here because I'm pretty sure he's one of these guys that's like standing in front of Salvo and shit and like, you know, trying to get him to calm down. So those guys, Corey was Dennis's meat shield. And you see where the loyalty is there because Corey's the one that Dennis said he actually shafted. I mean, I don't know. This has to count for something. You got to give him a couple, you know, you got to give him a couple because he did this for you. Corey looked out for you, bro. Let's watch this one more time. Red Bar. I'm not a big Red Bar fan, but Dennis knows him apparently. Yeah, right here I think is Corey. And some bodyguard maybe. But just, you know, I think it's funny considering what the vibes are now. Like everybody is in a peace and unblock era and yada yada. It's funny to see, and like how Dennis was talking about positivity and everything. It's funny to see him go off like that. What a clip, huh? So let's look at chat. That's what I'm here for this morning. Let's check it out. Let's see what everybody's saying. So Booty Tootie says, I'm pumped for this. Link it to the subreddit maybe. I hope somebody did that. I did not. Thank you, though. We got some emotes. We've got Hash with the Goot Morning. Goot Morning. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Goot to see you. Poland Springs. Clout Route is on time for the first time ever. Wow. And a little nice, happy emote there. Oh, we've got my audio is echoing really badly. So thank you. Thank you there for that. I want to make sure that I know why. It's because my computer is picking up my audio. Oops. So we'll watch that as we go forward here. I don't even think we're going to look at very many clips, but thank you, Twitter Geek. Honey Bell Music says, Wef Woodles. Thank you for that. Hash says, I'm going to give a compliment real quick. I think you have a lot of potential as an interviewer. Wow. I appreciate that. I mean, you know, level with you guys here, you know, the people out there watching. And I'm not, this isn't any shade to Dennis or anything, so don't take it that way. But, I mean, he kind of said it himself. It was very impromptu. It very kind of happened. I had to roll with the punches there. It was like Sunday. So if I kind of recall the events to you, Sunday, Kevin and I talking a little smack, you know, doing our thing, yada, yada, about this whole situation. And then Monday, I get a message. On Twitter. Oh, hey, you know, and we kind of exchanged some messages, me and Dennis. And then I was trying to set up times for us to do it. You know, I was telling him when I usually stream. I was telling him, you know, this day I do the podcast, this day I do the morning show, but I'm flexible, you know. It was cool that he was going to come on and do the show no matter what. So I was pretty flexible. And I guess he took and ran with that because he was like, hey, is now good? Is essentially how it went. So I was like, give me 15. I got to get ready. And yes, now is good. Let's do it. So there you go. They're a little behind the scenes. Booty Tootie says, you were such an awesome interviewer. Gosh, I really appreciate all of you guys saying that. I mean, hey, I try. It's all about, you know, I've always been a conversationalist kind of guy, so I can roll with it. It's fun. You were a very empathetic interviewer. Thank you so much. Twitter Geek says, address the Facetune Poland Spring says, Twitter Geek addressed the Facetune allegations. Now, I don't know what's going on there between him and Maggot Edits, but there's some sort of like hoedown. Who's the hottest clipper on Twitter? I don't know. Hujan or Maggot. And, you know, my inclination with Maggot, I just don't, yeah. Maggot Edits, it would go a long way for you if you changed your name from Maggot to something pleasing or like just neutral even. Then I could like side with you on things. But since it's Maggot, I just, I don't want to, Maggot. I don't like it. Anyways. Continuing with the chat. Morning, Parking Tiger says. Morning. We've got hi Danny, hi Carla, hi Kia Cat, Jen, Amanda, like I said, Parking Tigers, Hose Mad, Poland Springs, Booty Tootie, Kia Cat, Hash. I want to say hi to everybody. Honeybell, Doggo, Danielle Starry, Andy Zucchini. You know, all of the staples are here. It seems like nice to see everybody. Hose Mad says Salvo was deaf, probably coked out. Now, see, I wondered that. I mean, if Salvo wasn't such a toxic piece of shit, you know, and like I would never want to actually have a conversation with him, honestly, certain things like that would be fun to ask him, like what was actually going on there. But that's what I'm going to try to get out of Steven. So we'll see if he has any insight. Steven is so nice. I agree. Steven is a nice guy. Steven was on stage, if I remember correctly, Hash says. Yeah, I knew that they were there. They're right there. Hearing the red bar chant is giving me flashbacks. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, gosh. We don't need to rehash all the Salvo stuff, do we? Gosh, goodness gracious. I think you should watch Def's video showing the security when Salvo came the day before and was knocking on all the windows. Now, we won't watch it because I don't have the time and the energy to figure all that out right here. Maybe if somebody sends me it. But I do think that's worth, like, kind of pointing out in that whole situation. Yeah. I heard about all that where he came to the club and was knocking on the windows and blah, blah, blah. But according to Dennis in the interview, he has the blinds up and the windows open so that everybody can see it packed and stuff. I don't know if that means all day, obviously, and probably doesn't. But I don't know. You got to roll with that. I don't know. Sometimes there's homeless people outside of my establishment that pee and sleep. Okay? It's like, yeah. Shit happens. Not funny, by the way. Homelessness, not funny. We should definitely fix that. Boot moaning. See, you guys are going to get me all mixed up with saying all these weird good morning variations. I'm going to start speaking gibberish. So boot moaning from Abby Blackbird. Hash says, yeah, I always felt like Dennis made the wrong choice in pushing Pancakes, but most people would have tried to actually fight him with how wild he was being. I mean, that would have been way cooler. Like if he just got the crap beat out of him. No, I don't know. I mean, right, you can say a lot of things in retrospect. Like now I would say, yeah, it would be a lot cooler if he would have got the shit beat out of him. But, you know, you never wish that upon somebody. I don't know. It happens. That kind of shit happens. You know, like shit. I have good buddies that, you know, sometimes you just, especially when you're younger. I mean, I don't know. These guys should be old enough not to get in angry moments like that. But when I was younger, you know, sometimes you have a little scuffle and you move on. You make a wrong choice about pushing somebody or, you know, what the heck ever. You live and you learn. Don't kill any people. That's what you shouldn't do in Minecraft or anywhere. No murder. Amanda Jane says, Dennis has legal stuff going on with people, so it's unfair of people to gripe over not getting answers on certain topics when they know that he can't give them what they really want the dirt on. Yeah, I mean, yeah, well, hopefully Steven can give us some insight on some things. I would love that. You never know. Maybe he knows some stuff that he can. He's not linked up in any legal battles, and he's the guy, you know, that was. I assume him and Dennis were pretty tight and he probably knew some shit. So we'll see how that works. Let's see. Booty Tootie says, you asked directly / hot button questions without being rude. You got a sub from me instantly. Thank you, Booty Tootie. I mean, that's what I'm going for. You know, like there are fans of these guys on both sides. There are people that feel, you know, ways on both sides. They're good people on both sides, okay? The Trump way. But no, realistically, like we're growing here. I don't want to alienate anybody or any audiences or any opportunities with like meeting new people and doing interesting things, you know? So there's some sort of like, I don't think the Salvo way, like he did, burn every bridge and piss on everybody along the way, is the way to do it necessarily. You should be friendly. And then you can have fun too. Let's see. Carla, have you been posting in the Noodle subreddit about analyzing bots, perhaps? I'm not sure what the heck's going on there. So bots. Oh gosh. Let's see. Rebecca Allred says, Jane, he shouldn't even have legal stuff going on with Tiana. That's pathetic. He's suing some 22-year-old when she never even said his name. See, some of those kind of like revelations there, I kind of accidentally stumbled upon. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't expect him to say, hey, I'm in a legal battle with Tiana and I can't talk about that. I think that's a whole revelation. I think that's a whole thing in itself. It's surprising to me. I don't know exactly why. Obviously, he didn't want to talk about it, so who knows why? Because she said some shit, I guess. I don't know. Who knows? Carla says, maggot is what she has in the place of her soul. I mean, that's like, I'm not going to make that judgment. I don't know maggot edits that well. But I will say, when I read maggot, I just instantly go to think like, this person must be abrasive in some sort of way. So take that as you will. Let's see. Andy says, I've always thought that Freak was on drugs. Tiana? Yikes. I don't know. He needs to drop the Tiana suit. It's a bad look. I agree. I mean, who knows, though? I don't know what the behind the scenes is. No. Salvo. Fuck that. Imagine me getting a Salvo interview and like what that idiot would say. That'd be funny. Is that as tea-worthy as Dennis Noodles' interview? I don't know. A reputation for being litigious is not a good look for Dennis Noodle. I agree. Like, yeah, no. I mean, and I kind of pointed at that too. I think that's an interesting thing to look at. Like, when you're constantly in controversy with, you're talking creators, you're talking fans, and you're talking employees, all three. I think that at that point, you need to reflect inward and be like, what the hell am I doing wrong that like I'm constantly in grief with these people, with all these people, all these different people, and getting in all this trouble. And yeah, you kind of got to look inward. When it originally happened, so many commentary channels were absolutely livid about Noodles pushing Pancakes, but would somehow completely downplay all of Pancake's racism and harassment towards others besides Dennis. Now, I think, hot take on Salvo here, I think that his community, okay, some people in his community, not the whole, I know some people that used to like him, so I can't say everybody, but I think that they were very forgiving and like open to him being shitty towards anyone because it was like a breath of fresh air kind of thing, which, like I said, I think in retrospect, some people would probably change the way they acted when it came to the whole Salvo thing. Oh, goodness gracious. But yeah, Hash, I think you have a good point. Poland Spring says, how old are you, Danny? Sip a little coffee there. I'm 31. I don't care. I'm 31 years old. Yeah, trust me, it surprises me too. I was at a Starbucks one time, a Starbucks that I frequent a lot, or did at the time. And I knew the people that worked there or whatever. At least, we were friendly, like you do, with the people that make your coffee. She says to me, it was like Valentine's Day or something, and I said I was getting something for my wife. This is years ago, not recently. I was getting something for my wife, and she said, do you get anything for your kids for Valentine's Day? Like to include them? And I was like, I don't have any fucking kids. And like I said, this is years ago. I was like, I don't have any fucking kids. And she's like, oh, I thought you were like 35. And like I said, this is years ago. So I was getting upwards of 10 years added to my age. It was the cigarettes, dude. Maybe. I don't know. I just look like an old man. So there you go. WFF, which is my buddy Noah. Nice to see you. He says, great interview. I'd like more. Yeah, there's potential there. I have fun with interviews. That's what I like to do, is talk to people. So, that's why I wanted to, obviously I'm capable of like getting on here and doing a live stream where I'll just talk and talk and talk forever, But part of the reason I wanted to do the podcast with somebody else, like Kevin, was to have a conversation. I like talking. So I like talking with people, though, not always necessarily by myself, but there you go. Gosh, you guys are very talkative today, so I'm kind of losing my place here as we go along. Steven almost seemed like a business partner. So yeah, that's one of the questions I'm going to ask. Was it strictly business? Friendly? A mix of both? I could see how it could be a mix of both. I've been in those same kind of scenarios, so I get it. Hash says, I don't think best friends, just good friends for a while. So that makes sense, right? I could see that. Doggo says, we love a fair and neutral king. I appreciate that. Ask Steven about vaccines, somebody says. We'll see if we get to that. That's very that's the least Hey, I like that. That's a good one. Thank you for that. I won't even say any more. Let's see. Let's keep combos in the chat on topic, please, and thank you. Doggo, you know how it is. Don't stress yourself out too much. Andy says, I don't know, Tiana, I meant piss cake. Oh, yeah, well, piss cake's a piece of shit. Abby says, hi. Twitter Geek says, testing. Oh, wow, we've got some blocks of of chat here. Goodness gracious. In retrospect, some of us Salvo viewers thought it was a show. It was all a show gay op. So yeah, I mean, I could get that too. That was the kind of thing. It was very forgiving of his jokes because everything was a joke, right? So like he could say literally whatever he wanted and it kind of just rolled off people's shoulders because it was always a joke. But the thing people forget is all jokes are based on like a kernel of truth. Even if you're like, I was going to say, even if you're joking. Yeah, all jokes are based on like a small kernel of truth. That's what makes them funny. And that's kind of what hurts people's feelings sometimes because the truth hurts, you know? So yeah, I really get that with Salvo. Yeah, people really, I see that. Poland Spring says 31 smiley face. I hope that's a good smiley face and not like a, I won't read into your smiley face there. Thank you, Poland Spring. She wanted to sleep in the car and didn't let him sleep with her in the car from what I remember. That's the Tiana stuff. Yeah. I'll ask a little bit about that. The Tiana stuff is interesting. Like I said, I don't know why he is in a legal battle. Not looking good. Not looking good. Let's catch up here to the most recent stuff. Salvo would have definitely been fired if he was a teacher. I like that. And then we've got Hash saying, Danielle Starr, I don't know the context, but Noodles chat is full of flirting, some joking, some not, but Dennis seems fine with all of it. So I guess my opinion is just to each their own. Yeah, I mean, and that's true too. He kind of said some stuff about context in terms of the apology tour, and you know, if you're not a part of his chat, then you might not get all the context. I get all that, yeah. So anyways, chat, you've been great. We'll look at you more here soon before I go grab Steven. But in the meantime, there's some stuff that I wanted to read and look at and yada yada. So here is a Reddit interaction, and I just want somebody pulled this for me. Doggo shouts out, and I just thought it was interesting what they said, so I wanted to read it out. It says here, and this is under the episode that got posted, the interview. Dramatic reading like I usually do. All right. What a way to start. Originally was going to make a point-by-point everything in the interview, but no. Genuinely, this interview was eye-opening, and I mean it. I swear I didn't just pull this because it was very gracious to me. Maybe, you know. Anyway, genuinely, this interview was eye-opening, and I mean it. There is no necessity for another Twitter space because Dennis did the exact same thing here. Okay. When I pressed Dennis about the Steven and Corey situation, Dennis deflects or evades the question, which is what Steven is here for today, or talks about something else, and Dennis still thinks that he is in the right, spinning things in his favor when, if you listen clearly, can tell Dennis is evading. Or in an extreme case, word for word, Dennis says he suffers from depression and anxiety and almost offed himself last year after the host asked why he was blocked on Twitter, which, I mean, yeah, I definitely was. That was quite something during the interview too. I thought that was very, I feel for him, I guess, but it was very interesting because I was like, yeah, why am I blocked on Twitter? And he's like, I hate Twitter. I almost offed myself because of seeing the kind of shit that people post. Pretty wild. For real, give this a watch. It gives way more information about the Stephen Corey situation, like Corey being fired Jan 3rd as a business decision, and Stephen literally never came back, and the Keemstar and Tiana lawsuits are still ongoing. So interesting. I like that at the end, where like the big points that we really got out of it were, Corey was the one fired, according to Def. Corey was the one fired. Steven kind of took it as like, I'm not going to return at that point. And then, the Keemstar and Tiana things, lawsuits, can't talk about it. It's pretty wild. And then somebody commented under that and said, listening right now, and I can even And I can tell even the host knows he's full of shit. Now, I won't say whether or not I knew anything. I didn't know anybody was full of shit, okay? But, that's funny. Anyways, here. We're going to look at some stuff that has to do with Def Noodles' unban era. Now, I think it's funny that after the podcast, or after that episode, I shouted out Ham and said, hey, unban Ham, unblock Ham, because Ham needs unblocked, which, Steven, if you're listening now, Ham Bidoof, okay, on Twitter. She is on her unblocked by Def Noodles era, and she wants to be on her unblocked by Steven Marcus Releford era. So if you do that, man, Ham will be shouting you out, that's for sure. But anyways, here you go. Ham says, at Def Noodles, now that I am unblocked, thank you. I think you should show people the new you and how you're going to turning around. You went on a block spree, go on an unblock spree. Here's a few suggestions. Lunnon in the chat usually. Clara, Carla, Danielle Starry. We've got 8030. We've got somebody else, Assistant Sailor, Formal Ghost, Hujan. So like a bunch of people that are actually in my chat too, which is kind of funny. And then people responding like Lunnon saying, hello, Mr. Noodles. If you recall, you acquired several of my memes. I did the same thing. I acquired several of London's memes. He made memes about me. I had to acquire them. If you recall, you acquired several of my memes as promotional tools for your roast battles. I simply wish to be unblocked, as I will accept that as payment for my meme. Yours sincerely, Lunnon. And I think he did get unblocked. And then, so yeah, look at that. Def Noodles on a new era. I hope he stays on his era even after what Steven has to say here today. Anyways, I've got another one here. Another funny unblocker. This one made me laugh too. You got Parking Tiger saying, unblocked with the shades. Back to where it all began. Unblocked by Def Noodles. So I'm appreciating this. I guess it's turning over a new leaf. Is that what you would call it? He's turning over a new leaf. Okay. He's turning over a new leaf, unblocking all of these people. I wonder how personal he really got with it. I wonder if he saw the plea for all these people and clicked them and was like, oh, okay, you know what? This guy's good. And I'm hoping that, because that means that he thinks individually everyone that he unblocked is a good person. And I like that look for him. So anyways, yeah, there you go. That is the unban from Def Noodles era. Let's take a look at chat. What have you guys been saying? Hope you've been behaving there. Let's see. In retrospect, it's surprising how many people believed what Salvo said. Kia Cat says, yeah, right. And she said I look 19. I think I scrolled up too high because I saw that before. Oh, goodness gracious. His grammar sucks. He claimed to teach high school language arts. The shit people will believe. I also actually am the CEO of... I'm the shadow CEO, so they don't put me on the figurehead, but I own all of, allegedly in Minecraft, White Castle, actually. That's my business. I am the CEO of White Castle, but the shadow CEO, the one that they don't talk about. So there you go. That's my backstory. That's what I do for real, just so you guys know. All jokes are based. Danny, 2023. I agreed. Let's let all the jokes fly. And then, see, this is what I think anymore. Because it's I've been playing a lot of Harry Potter, Hogwarts. I've been getting a lot of warts on my hog. And you can say what you want about, I'm supporting J.K. Rowling, and people get mad, and I'm sure I'll have some chatters say something. And it's like, whatever. I'm not transphobic because I play fucking warts. I play with warts on my hog. But yeah, like the way I feel is just do your thing, say your joke, make your game, blah, 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 do your thing. When it comes out, people will watch it or they won't, and they'll decide based or not, whatever the fuck. I mean, who cares? Say your fucking joke. If it's terrible, people are gonna fuck. You just better be prepared as the person saying the stupid shit like me all the time, that there might be backlash, and you just got to deal with that kind of shit. I mean, all jokes are based, okay? We've got Poland Spring saying hi to some people in chat. I'd love it. You guys are all so friendly to each other. Truth hurts is the one deaf joke I know. Oh, goodness. Booty Tootie, I think Def should be a game show host or something behind the scenes. He's very driven and self-motivated. It sucks to see someone struggle bus. But who am I? I mean, yeah, you know, maybe no longer is the whole thing that he does his, like, the way he needs to go. You always got to keep changing and evolving, so it's his decision ultimately. And from the outside, it looks like all that shit's not going well in terms of the club stuff and the roast battles and the streams and stuff. Like, I feel bad, obviously. It's struggle bus, like Booty said. But, you know what? Like, who am I? We got fucking 100 views on some of our shit. Some of our shit. Like, talk about struggle bus. Just do your thing, dude. Do your thing. Have fun. That's what it's all about, okay? Serena Moon, hi there, says, girl, I'm sitting here trying to figure out why do people care so much about what someone said about their sex life. So weird. I don't know. Are we referring to Def Noodles' dirty butthole? Booty Tootie says, I miss Corey. Ugh. I mean, Corey and Steven were funny on that show. They made that show funnier. I agree. But it is what it is. And we're getting, what time is it here? 11:48. So, you know, we'll shoot some more crap here for a little bit longer with chat, and then I'll see if I can pull Steven in. I'm actually in talking with him right now. Okay, so let's continue shooting the shit. Making sure that my friends list is working right. You sons of guns. Gotcha. Okay, so we are all set up for the call whenever that happens. Sorry to be distracted for a second. Let's look at chat. The evening times are harder for me to catch. I've been popping in and out when I can. I miss weed chat. I was just talking about Def's show. I mean, yeah, you know, that's also a thing too. It's like Def changed the way he did everything. So, considering he switched the way he does everything, like, in terms of time zone, I mean, like time of the day and length of streams and what he's actually putting out, like, yeah, that also changes your numbers and like your viewership and yada yada too. So he's had a lot of shuffle. You can't, like, it's not to be expected that, or it is to be expected that, you know, his numbers would look bad for a little bit. Let's see. So excited to see Steven. Me too. I can't wait to talk to Steven. E-girls are coming to save me from maggot edits. Poland Springs, don't be jealous. There's plenty of love to go around. I can vouch for Twitter Geek. He has plenty of love to go around. So shouts out to Twitter Geek. Let's see. Social media is really bad for people's mental health. That's not a secret. I mean, yeah, that's definitely a thing too. I even find myself where most of my interactions seem most of my interactions with everybody online is positive. It's just like especially if you're a content creator, if you do some shows and shit like I do, and you work a normal job or whatever, live a normal life, just constantly trying to be plugged in to get that show done and doing normal life too, it burns you. I mean, like, yeah, it's a lot. It's a struggle. So, like, yeah, when we talk about mental health and shit, sometimes I just have to unplug and, like, be super transphobic playing some Hogwarts, getting some warts on my hog. Obviously, that's a joke. Don't clip me out. Let's see. Doggo says, I'll believe him with that. He was dragged hard. I don't know what we're talking about in reference there. Booty Tootie says he posts on Twitter. He tweets on live stream, so I don't think he has an assistant blocking people personally. That's an interesting thing. I mean, I don't even get the whole... People freaked out about Pokimane, okay? People freaked out about Pokimane having, People freaked out about Pokimane having an assistant that blocked stuff and, like, censored Twitter, blah, 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 for her. So, the fact that Dennis had one is, like... I mean, he's not Pokimane by any means, that's for sure. So it's wild to think that he's paying somebody to do all that. Shit. The club must be doing pretty well for him. Eduardo Pedrero, that's me. Hello, people. Hello, Eduardo. That's my Reddit comment post. Oh, very nice. Cool. Thank you for the kind words. I really appreciate it. I gotta go, but I trust you all. Honey Bell says so. Honey Bell, I hope you catch the replay. Thank you. I agree with Doggo there. Thank you all the Reddit people for coming out. It's interesting. A whole nother audience of people. Super fun. Def Noodles making a video about Darman not paying his employees when he apparently didn't even pay Corey or Steven. Wow, okay. So, yeah, we'll get into all that. I agree, Steven and Corey are awesome people, but I don't want them getting too tangled up in whatever mess is happening. Yeah, maybe they're better off. Maybe they are better off away. Ham shout out. Yes, always shouts out to Ham. Ham is the greatest. Thanks to Ham for Dennis unblocking me. I mean, yeah, that was the thing is like, I got the ball rolling, I guess, for Ham to fucking unleash and get everybody unblocked. So Ham, what a queen. Queen Ham out there. Wow, okay, there's a lot of things being blocked and deleted here. So I'm not sure really what's going on in the chat, but all right, guys. Without further ado, I think we are going to have Steven call. He just asked me if it's cool if he calls in, so we will see. I wonder if it's going to, like, ring me. Holy shit. I better be prepared for this. I don't want to blow everybody up with, like, a ring-a-ding-ding. I don't know how Discord ever works. Here, let me pop Discord up top so I don't have to see my ugly face. So I'm ready. Okay, here we go. Hello.
Yo, what's up with you?
What's up, Steven? Let me just make sure everybody can hear you in chat. So, guys in chat, sound off for Steven. What's up, man?
What's happening, man? What's happening? Good morning, good afternoon, good night, wherever you guys are at, whenever time you guys are listening to this. But what's up, man? Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, dude. I really appreciate it, especially after all the nonsense. I mean, I think everybody can't wait to hear what you have to say. But anyways, I have a bunch of stuff that I wanted to ask you. I kind of want to just shoot the shit and talk to you, really. I just wanted to know before we got into it how much time you have, how long I have you for, so we can get
Yeah,
to the important stuff.
you got me. You got me for about an hour, man. We got a good hour, so what's up? Let's get into it. What's up, chat, man? I missed all you guys too, man. It's been a minute. It's been too long, but yeah, where do you want to start at?
Well, a lot of these guys in chat, are refugees from Def's chat, Dennis's chat or whatever. So yeah, you probably are familiar with a lot of these people, and a lot of people in my Discord server love you, man. Apparently, they're sounding off all about you. So
I love them. I love them too. We had a cool little run. I'm still planning on seeing a lot of these guys in the future. It's just kind of shitty how things came to an end really abruptly. But yeah, man, I'm still here for it. I'm still out here slanging these jokes, still out here participating in this art field. So I haven't gone anywhere.
well, I love that. Then, since I have you for a bit, at the top, I want to talk about you then. How about that? Because, I think that now that it's not like your co-host on Dennis's show, let's shine the spotlight here on Steven a little bit. Can I ask you a few questions about some of the stuff you're into?
Mm-hmm.
So, obviously, I caught you, and I think a lot of people caught you from Dennis and, all of his streams, but you have your own thing going on. You're a stand-up comedian, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah. So before getting casted on Dennis's show, I have been doing stand-up in the city for about 12, 13 years. And the past 7 years, I was running my own independent shows throughout the city. I want to say starting at the end of 2017, I kind of took it upon myself with 3 other friends to start Just Vibes Collective. And that's where you see Sunrise and Johnny Mac were kind of like the initial part of our relationship and our friendship was setting up shows in 2017, 2018. And we were doing some really cool shit, independent DIY shit to where we would take over a backyard, an art gallery, parking lot. We would do shows outside. We would do shows anywhere that we could, and we'll still have, people rocking with us and investing in us. And it became something more bigger than comedy. It became kind of like an event, like a block party, definitely like that. It just became something bigger than just comedy. So we were doing shows maybe once to 3 times a month, and shows were sold out. We had like free food and open bar. We got like different bars and restaurants involved. We had weed, vendors and sponsors, and shit was really cool. But we always had like an issue with the venue at some point in the development, So after doing that, I want to say, yeah, we kind of just started building our own little brand and our own shows. And I want to say around COVID, obviously everybody's life kind of shifted.
Oh, yeah.
And even around then, we took it upon ourselves to do like some of the first Zoom comedy shows like that. I want to say that that February or March, as soon as like COVID was initially.
Damn. So that early in it, you guys were already on it.
Yeah, we were on it, man, because we were already on a DIY tip just because of the nature of the scene. It's kind of like you kind of have to get it out the mud and just build where you can, and just rock with the people who support you. So that's what we were doing already before COVID, and which was really cool because we even did 2 drive-through comedy shows. Because if you watch, I'm sure you guys are familiar with the show. Every now and then I might get into like a little activist or civil disobedience conversation. I got a lot of friends who do that type of work. So I got a buddy of mine who actually...
I think that's part of the reason why I gravitate towards you too, is because I love that shit.
Oh yeah, I'm always about that, man. I'm always wanting to talk about like change and justice is always like on the top of my mind, because I really feel like situations are simplified in two situations. They're either situations of love or they're situations in need of love. That's really it. There's only two
That's an
ways to really
interesting way to
break
look
things
at
down.
it. Yeah.
You know, so I'm always talking about justice in any way that I can. But anyway, yeah, man, we even took over like a parking lot. And if people are familiar with LA, there's a park called Elysian Park where we pulled up with a radio transmitter and we took over a radio station. We pretty much just pirated a radio station for like 5 miles. And anyone who pulled up to the show could listen to our comedy show on the radio, and they were just there as an audience. So we had a few little drive-through shows to where we took over a rooftop of a parking structure in downtown. It's like maybe 30 stories up, and we have this nice little view. We have like maybe 30, 40 cars there, and they're listening to our comedy show. And it's like, you know, like I said, the early stages of COVID, and I'm running this shit with all the guys that you've seen me introduce you guys to, you know, on the podcast. So I'm with Niles, Arthur, you know, Johnny Mac, a couple other comedians, you know, and friends and shit like that we brought in. And we're just doing like our own little independent shit. And,
I love it,
you know,
dude.
we got maybe a year into that to where we got pretty much burnt out, you know? So we're just like, this shit.
I mean, it's hard to
working.
keep innovating. And I think that's what you guys were doing. You guys were like thinking of kind of new ways to figure it out. I mean, that whole drive-in experience sounds so awesome to me because it's like retro. It kind of brings me back to when I was a kid going to those things. Well, movies.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes, it was super sweet, super fun, super cool.
I love that. You guys recently did like a secret show, did you not?
Yeah, we had a sold out show. We had over 90 people there, and they were all standing, which is a gift in itself. If you
It was like in an art place or something, was it not?
3 hours, you know.
Is that art gallery or something you guys had it at?
Yeah, we had it. It was a cool venue. It was an art gallery / barber shop. So one side of the shop was a barber, and then the other side of the shop was an art gallery. And it was swanky. It was really cool. South in Santa Monica. We brought so many people out, you know.
It looked packed.
We had a lot of old friends that come out.
And it looked fun too, dude. It looked like you guys were having a good time. I thought, wow.
Oh, it was solid.
That's the way to do it. I like that shit.
It was, I mean, the shows that we do as a group are the easiest shows and the most fun, you know, that I have on stage. It just sucks because it's like, I can't organize 5 shows for me to do a week. I can do one, you know, but I can't book 5 shows for me to do and they're all going to be sold out, you know, a week. But that's the scenario that we're dealing with, is just like trying to find quality spaces to, you know, consistently perform without having to do all the work ourselves, which, you know, essentially as an artist, you're probably going to have to do anyway.
So was Dennis right when he was talking with me the other day, when he said that realistically the scene is kind of small there in terms of you guys doing stand up and all that jazz?
You know, I feel, you know, I don't want to get too in this like negative space or whatever around this conversation. I'm sure
right, yeah,
it might take
we can
me
keep
there.
It positive.
Well, I'm gonna keep it positive. But yeah, when I heard Dennis say that, like, yes. But I also feel like that's a general euphemism just used in any capacity. Everybody says the world is small. You run into an old high school friend at Target, you're gonna be like, oh, the world is small.
Small, you know, world.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But the actuality of it is, even though the world is small, granted, Dennis wasn't on the ground as far as comedy and stand-up in LA. Dennis hadn't performed stand-up in maybe 4 to 5 years since he was out in New York.
Interesting.
So when we set up this space, and I was with Dennis before the space was even a thought. We were just moving around from different studios to studios recording the podcast from the inception of the first Def Noodle podcast show. So once we found the space, Dennis essentially waited to the last minute to organize and book the show. And I'm kind of just on standby trying to figure out which way he feels is best to do that, because as I have a familiar, reputation with running shows, he doesn't fully have that know-how. So even up until getting the building finalized, as we were doing that was the time where we're going through all the Papa Gut and like Keemstar shit that's going on.
Right, okay.
And that was probably, even before then, we had creative differences. But I want to say like that was probably the major shift in like our direction, because as the place is being built out, I'm seeing all the beauty and the potential of what this could be, because I just had these X amount of years dealing with, setting up shows and having successful shit come together. And then
you saw something that sounded amazing to you, figuring like you could do it the way that you think it should be done, right?
Right. And at this point, I'm kind of like quasi second in command.
And that's what it always looked like from the outside looking in too. I know that we've kind of like we jumped right into it, but yeah, I always kind of thought that you guys were like partners about it. And especially when you started being on his show a lot more, and Corey came on the show with you guys too, and you guys had all your back and forth there. Like, you guys were funny, and I thought that, yeah, you guys were collaborative like that. You were, you seemed friendly, and you seemed like you were partners in like a business kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. If you are going to work with someone in a creative capacity, especially something that you're passionate about, you would only hope that not only are you guys are executing dope content, you guys are actually friends and get along as well. Yeah, like we grew into a friendship way before, we started doing shows. I was like really riding with Dennis and, trying to figure this shit out. So we were beyond like just cordial. It was beyond just like, oh, we're just making content. No, we were legitimately cool. We were really doing shit that was, that friends would do. And this is over the course of the year of us, making shit. But like I said, there was different times, like hiccups where we would have that it was a clear difference of how we wanted to navigate, as far as content and the audience. And there was just different times where we had, we ran into like these little hiccups to where we were just on opposite sides of what would be best, and it being his show, obviously he took the reins and was just like, all right, we're going to do it like this. And it was like, all right, well, I don't know if that's going to work, and I'm with you, but I don't think it's going to work. So I want to just say, like, as we were finalizing the space and the drama is pretty much on 10, that's when you started seeing me more, because I was on the show once a week at one point, and then I started coming like 3 to 5 times a week, and I'm not getting paid.
That's one of the questions that everybody wanted to get at. And I think that's I think that's an important thing for you to kind of clear up here. At least that's what people want to know.
I was getting paid for 1 day of podcasting, but I was not getting paid for organizing or essentially producing, coordinating, and consulting either the open mics and the comedy shows. Now,
so you weren't on salary or anything. He didn't have you.
I wasn't, but I was promised that I would be.
Okay.
I wasn't, but I was told that I would be. I mean, from the beginning, I just felt like I had my dad's voice echoing in my head because it's like, you got to get your contracts, you got to get your agreements. So yeah, we made agreements, and when I first came onto the show, the agreement was that I was going to get paid an X amount per episode, and then my pay would increase as we get like 2 months into the podcast, and we had over an X amount of views and like over 20,000 subscribers. And we had like a few like little micro deals. So all that shit was supposed to, aggregate to a pay increase. So at the 3-month mark, when I asked about it, essentially it fell on deaf ears, literally, no pun intended. And then I want to say, like, our other co-host started to leave, which was sad. I didn't want to see Gabe and
oh, you know what? Wow, that trips me out now that you bring them up. The two that would like do the Trisha Paytas shtick and like they would do characters and stuff. What were their names?
Yeah, so Gabe and damn, her name is slipping my mind right now.
Hey, fair enough. We both smoke here. I know how that is. It comes and goes.
No, I know somebody's gonna say it in the chat probably, but
yeah, I'm sure somebody will.
So it was, and even that, like, I seen the way that transition happened, and it wasn't in a cordial or nice or friendly or even in a professional business sense. If Dennis wants to use that as the context,
because that was a lot of what he said. It was all about like the cogs of the business. He's looking out for the business. So I do think that that's important to note too, that's always at the forefront of his mind, it seems like.
Well, I think it's a great excuse to use to say like, yeah, we can do something that's potentially sketchy, wrong, or immoral or disrespectful under the guise of business, because it's just like, that's what it is. It's just, you can do grimy things in order to keep the business going, which is a really shady and shitty thing to say, because it's like, you're saying that around the people who are actually keeping your business afloat and attractive.
I kind of wanted to, like, that was one of the things I was trying to explain to him too when we were interviewing.
Leah.
I was like,
Leah. I'm so sorry, I forgot her.
Leah, and they were great. Gabe and Leah, they were great. It was one of the things that I was trying to kind of hammer home with him is like, look, dude, you got to you can keep saying this whole business first thing, but there are actual people involved here. Like, and you said you guys were, friendly enough, like there are actual people involved here. So when you start talking about it's business, and then you're a guy that's partners with him and you see how he treats, I don't know exactly what he did with Gabe and Leah there, but them, and then going forward, I mean, more things obviously unfold there. It's just like, it's not a good look to just keep saying business when these are real people.
Yeah, these are real people, and especially in this field, this artistry is it's like you're already between a rock and a hard place to try to make this work. So it's like, if you have any little glimmer of constructive success and you're moving forward, like that's something that should be cherished, and everybody involved in that should be valued to a certain degree, to a certain extent, because everybody's helping everybody at this point. So to clear it up, Gabe, he was the first one to leave, and he didn't leave under any bad circumstances. We weren't getting paid, anything to supplement like any living wage or anything. So Gabe was actually, he was probably smart because he just had a better job offer and, some writing gig that he got. But Leah was pretty much let go without any real reason or excuse. She was basically just told like not to come in anymore. And
she was funny too. I love that whole.
She was funny. She was, supposed to be running some shows with us there, but he didn't like her. He didn't really like what she was bringing to the table. I thought she was funny. I thought her tarot card shit was cool. he didn't like it. He thought it was weird. He thought it was strange that she would read tarot, and he wasn't really feeling it.
Because
that was weird
because
the cat
ears in the Minecraft house is so normal. You gotta be judgmental of somebody doing something different.
Yeah, it was just like, you don't see how adding different elements and different textures to the show allows for, you know, the conversation to take a different place. And because me personally, I was apprehensive from the beginning of even being on the show because of the nature of the content of the show. Now, I love everybody that I've
drama?
met so far. This has been great. But me spiritually, I don't have the inclination to be on a drama, gossip type of network or space, you know, and that just so happened to be how it unfolded. So once, like, if you see from the first episode, even though I think we talked about Keemstar or whatever, I didn't know anything about him at the time, but
I loved that
I was happy
too.
to
I
talk
loved him
about
explaining Keemstar to you. It was always funny.
right.
But sorry,
but you
sorry
even
to
see
interrupt.
that we had. Say that again.
I said sorry to interrupt. I made it worse.
Oh no, you good. That's you good. That's why we're here.
Yeah,
Please
right.
interrupt, and you know, let's take this wherever we need to take it. But you see from the first episode, like, we're getting like in depth about either politics or race or like whatever else is going on socially. So I appreciated that aspect of it. So it's like, even though we're going to talk about some garbage, some bullshit, we get to break down, you know, on a bigger level, on a collective level, on like why people are doing this and what this really means and how this affects us as a group. So I always appreciated that. And I feel like I brought a different element to the podcast, regardless if it was going to be a drama or gossip, you know, podcast. We just still had our own little thing to where it felt constructive. So
I thought that since the beginning too. Like I said, you know, I watched him kind of transform it into where it was you guys all on the show with him. And I mean, yeah, you said starting with Gabe and Leah and then going forward. I thought that you guys did cool things. I thought that you had a cool kind of set up there and how it worked between all of you. And you know, for a while I thought that was all pretty positive, but it seems like, you know, slowly but surely, obviously, all those things kind of, the cracks start showing, yada yada.
Yeah, man. Like I said, like so some of the hiccups were, you know, Leah and our creative differences on like how to navigate, like what type of content. And at this point, keep in mind, I haven't properly been paid, or at least the agreements that we've made as far as payment haven't been reached. So like, we hit whatever marker that we're supposed to hit. We already passed like the 3-month wait that we're supposed to wait for the brand deals and the checks to come in from that. And we're shooting content, which I was told I was going to get paid for shooting content outside of the podcast, which I never got paid for any of those. So any of the
you guys
videos
did
that I'm
skits
in
and stuff and blah, blah, blah.
Say it again.
I said you guys did skits and stuff and all that. I saw you guys do little skits on his channel,
skits, and then I'm bringing in talent. I'm bringing in Niles. I'm bringing in Marcel. I'm bringing in Corey. I'm bringing out all these people. None of them are being properly paid. Nobody's being paid, and it's just like, well, these are not our ideas, and we have our own ideas. So if you're not gonna pay us to produce your ideas, and this is not in any way like bringing us anything, you know, like, I want to say this too. Everybody that I've pretty much brought into the space has been in their artistry well over 5 years plus.
Experienced people.
Yeah, no one's looking to do a show for exposure for the sake of exposure. Okay. Like, that carrot is dead. Like, no one's performing just for exposure alone at this juncture, you know. So it's like, I think
that's always been a stupid fucking thing to say anyways. Like, oh, you do it for exposure, whatever. I just think it's a easy way to get somebody to do something for free and,
It is, and the
promise
exposure
them
doesn't amount to
something.
nothing
Yeah.
if it's not properly measured by anything when you know when you actually accomplished it. Is exposure just like 20 people seeing it or 2 million people seeing it, or is exposure actually like leading you to more work that's going to lead into actual economic incentive?
It just shouldn't be a fucking thing that people say to anyone in general. I think that from the rip, if he was a real one from the rip, you would have been a salaried dude. And then I just think that it doesn't make sense to me when it's like he has somebody creative like that there with him to do stuff with him. I would be, if I had the means, I would be paying you a salary, and that would motivate you probably to want to do even more. I mean, obviously, you're doing this for him for free and then probably having to think about everything else, all the rest of the time of the day in terms of where you're going to get your money, what jobs you're doing on the side, blah, blah, blah. So, like,
Right.
if he was really had the forethought, the business forethought, then you should have been a salaried dude right next to him from the beginning. And I think that would have did him measurable amounts of good too.
Right. Well, like I said, he had promised me salary, and it just never came to fruition. So that was kind of the reason why I ended up staying in New York the way that I did, just because it was really coming to a point where I was like, you know what? This shit is not happening in the way that it was supposed to, like it ought to happen. And now I'm looking back from February all the way back to, down to November. And I'm like, man, even though I've created a lot, I don't have much to show for it. And I don't know if you remember this or anybody caught it, but I've talked about it a few times on different episodes to where part of my grievances are like me feeling jaded about the scene is that even during the Def Noodles show around June around June or so, I was running a space called the Formosa Cafe. And I'm telling Dennis how after working at the Formosa Cafe for 9 months, they let me go because they said I was bullying the staff and they caught it on video. Now, when I went up there to ask them about me bullying them in the video, they never wanted to show me the video, and they never brought up who actually said that I was bullying them, which was the furthest thing from the truth. And essentially, after working at this restaurant for 8 or 9 months, we get let go. And
wow,
now the restaurant gets to continue to move on after we brought them all this clientele, notoriety. We essentially brought them back out of the COVID because at this point there was no live events and COVID was still like, you got to come in with your mask, and the restaurants were doing horrible. So we took 3 nights, a Wednesday, a Friday, and a Sunday, where we're packing out this restaurant and we're bringing them clientele, we're bringing them laughter and shit like that. And like I said, after 8 or 9 months, we get let go. And that was a really big part of my finances and frustration as I'm on the show. Cause I'm just like, man, once again, and this is like the 3rd time this had happened since 2017. So I'm just like, once again, I build up an establishment and we fucking kill it. Like everyone across the nation is coming to this show. We got comics coming from Austin, fucking Boston, fucking New York, everywhere. People are hearing about this show at the Formosa Cafe, and they're pulling up and they're being a part of it. And you got audience members coming from everywhere. You got fucking producers and people at the studios coming in. And I'll lose that connection off of really some weird ass racist shit because the employees told me the day before the show that my Sunday show didn't meet their demographic, which basically was like, your Sunday show is too black.
Oh my God. That's fucked up, man. Especially since it
So
seems
I'm
like,
telling
yeah,
Dennis this.
God
You know,
damn,
I
dude.
told Dennis this. I'm like telling him I'm going through the frustration of like, yo, it's so tough making something happen because you need a space and you need people. And I got the people. I just need the space to make it rock. And here we are building out a new space. And at this point, I'm pretty much jaded with producing. I just want to perform. I'm just like, I'm tired of producing. I'm tired of the headaches that it comes with organizing shit. Because,
Yeah.
you know, you do a lot of stuff for the community and the community rarely, you know, pays you back, or there's rarely like any real upward mobility. So here we are building out Dennis's spot, and I'm already on the fence because I'm like, man, I just got fucking slighted at this other spot. I done brought all these people in, and here I am, you know, looking to build my own thing again with Dennis. And sure enough, like as we're building it out, in the back of my head, I was like, you know what? We can get to the end of the year and he can completely pull the rug from up under me. And you won't even know that I was the one laying the bricks during the whole foundation of this shit. Because, like I said early on, Dennis wasn't on the ground. You can't properly produce a show and book a show and even facilitate a show if you don't know anybody or who to even get involved. So one of the, you know, like, there's so much to say. I mean, I'm so sorry for being all over the place, but
Hey,
I just
no.
want to say, like,
that's what we're here for. We want to get the truth.
After about 8 or 9 months of working, you know, religiously with Dennis, but still not being properly compensated, we get to the point where we're running these shows, and I'm bringing everybody, and it was shitty because I didn't feel comfortable doing the show under those intentions or that energy that we were going into, because we're coming off the heels of this Papa Gus shit and the Salvo shit, Keemstar shit is all bubbling. And at the same time, we're trying to open up this new space. And there's this weird conflicting energies that's going on, that's overlapping. So now, like, instead of just introducing a comedy show to the fans and the people who are like legitimately supporting what we're doing, we're playing into the negative and the hate,
You have
which
to fight
introduces
that shit off.
introduces a whole different, and it really, I think it really helped spawn like whatever next wave Salvo was getting to, because you mentioned it before I got on the call, like Salvo having this troll nature online and him taking that into, you know, the real world and shit. People kind of gave him the green light to do as he pleased under the guise of comedy, which he was not a comedian. He was not funny.
Thank you.
It was just shock shit that people wouldn't do in public or say without getting fucked up.
Well, that's what happens when you do it in public. When you do it in public, what happens? Some guy gets pissed off and fucking shoves you off stage. So yes, you don't do that kind of shit in public. Yes, exactly. I totally agree with you.
But I seen it for what it was, and I felt like either the audience was willing to play along with it and they fully didn't see it. So like I couldn't attack him and be safe because it was just jokes. Why would I get mad? I'm the comic. Why are you getting mad? You're supposed to be able to take a joke. And I'm like, this dude is not joking. This shit is not funny.
He's never joking is the real thing. He was truthful about all the hateful shit he said.
Right.
And I think that came out later. Everybody kind of saw the kind of person he was. But yes, I do think that was I mean, Dennis dipping his toes in that whole nonsense definitely did him no good. And you guys no good there, I think, because that just brought smoke, and Salvo was able to really do and say whatever the fuck he wanted to.
Yeah, and that was the thing. Like, I felt like we were feeding into the negative part of the YouTube world instead of allowing the people who genuinely fuck with us, like, instead of just opening up the door and allowing them into our world, we essentially was like, yeah, everybody who hate us come in. And they basically
Show
came in the
up.
house and destroyed the house. Like,
Yeah,
the house
right.
got fucked up.
Yeah.
And I seen it happening because I was like, we can't. Dennis, you're not a roast battler. Dennis is not even you're not even a comic in the true sense, in the fashion of like in the here and the now. You haven't been doing stand up. What makes you think you're gonna do a roast battle and it's gonna go successful?
Is
I
it
don't
because of
see.
them? That's where it spawned from? Is it like because of people like Keemstar and stuff that he was like, we should go in the direction of like roast battles? Is that really his mindset?
Yeah. So yes, man, I hated that because I was genuinely like, yo, let's just throw quality shows. I have a history of doing that. You want to do stand up again. So this is a perfect way for us just to throw quality shows. We can stream them. We can get the fans in. We can have different themes, which I all came up. Bro, I came up with like 10 different themes. All of them were dope as fuck. All the shows were sold out, but we weren't live streaming them. And it was like, these are the ones that we should be live streaming. Like, you wanted to live stream the drama, but you won't live stream none of the fun, none of the dope shit. And
dude, I mean,
it
like,
was like,
you could correct me if I'm wrong, but I can't off the top of my head think like people that really do that. If you guys made that a part of your content, and like live streamed your shows every week that people could come look forward to every week, yada yada, like that were just regular shows, not the roast battle thing that was so controversial. Yeah, I think that would, I don't know. I don't see a lot of people doing that exact thing.
no. We that was one of the creative differences that we had, because we're going, to the end of like being like, yo, Dennis, this is a completely different way we could shift gears, still do comedy, have the people who like you and like what we're doing still involved and not feeling alienated or being, just drowned out by this nonsense. That's just not funny. Like this Salvo shit, this Papa Gut shit is just not funny. It's not cool. It's not going to amount to anything. Like, where's this gonna go? What's the expected results?
You know how
what's
right you are too. See, this is why you should have been a salaried fucking partner of his, because guess what? You know how right you were, like the Papa Gut interview thing where they were arguing back and forth or whatever live like that. He made himself look like an idiot. The Salvo stuff, most of the time in that situation, he made himself look like an idiot. People are still hating on him about the whole Keemstar back and forth of it all. And like, I mean, people are very interested in how he's in a lawsuit with him and everything, but like, you're exactly right. He should have took your advice the whole time. You were telling him to steer clear of all of this negativity and hate, and
Bro, the first episode, or okay, so we did a pilot episode, but the first episode with Gabe and Leah that we did, we're telling him right then and there, don't worry about Keemstar. Stop fucking with Keem. And this is before he put the lawsuit out. So before the lawsuit was even a thought, we're already telling him, let's just leave this Keemstar shit alone, bro. We're focusing on a new chapter. We're doing a whole new type of content. We're bringing new people involved. We want to show the people who do fuck with you a different side of you. Let's just focus on that, and then we could take that anywhere. We can do anything with that. Like, let your success be what, kills whatever haters you got out here. But going after them in that manner, I was like, nah, it's not going to be cool. So we told him, like, the first 2 episodes, like, leave Keemstar alone, only for, 5 months later for him to pop up with a lawsuit,
Jeez, wow, man. He's going to be, I mean, if this lawsuit thing sticks around, he's going to be wishing probably that he followed your advice. But anyways, I think the whole Keemstar of it, yeah, you were exactly right. You should have he should have steered clear of all that and all that hatred, not fed into it, and maybe you guys would be in a different position now. I mean, It's wild. Can I ask
Oh yeah, we
you?
definitely would have been in a different position completely because a lot of his focus, resources went. It is going to that, So it's like you can't. I mean, how many hats do you want to wear as you're running a business or 5 businesses or however many businesses you running? Like you want to simplify things so those things that you do are going to be good, if not great. But he's splitting his focus
Juggling.
and he's not even taking care of the people who are actually in house. So I feel like a lot of this frustration, at least that I kind of had, was like how he let go Corey or fire Corey. And Corey doesn't want to be talked about at all. Like as far as Dennis, Corey's like, Dennis, keep my name out your mouth because you can't fire somebody you didn't hire. You wasn't paying Corey.
So okay. Can I ask you some things about that, or does Corey prefer that we not really talk about him?
Go ahead. What do you want to say?
Well, first off, I want to say, shouts out to Corey because he was fucking hilarious. He was one of the. I mean, like I said, I loved all you guys on there, but like Corey was one of. I'm assuming he's one of those guys that like can make a room like barrel over, kind of laughing.
Yes, Corey is a force, bro. Corey.
I
is
always
a
felt
monster.
that from him. Yeah.
And that's why I brought him in. That's exactly why I brought Corey in. Corey was essentially kind of like a stand-in for me because I felt myself emotionally and mentally shifting and having to take a break to some capacity. So I was like, let me bring in Corey, who's already been tested, who's already fucking thrown successful shows, doing cool shit. And he's only been in LA for like maybe 2 years, maybe 2 or 3 years. And he's just organically fucking funny. So I bring him in and yeah, we're doing skits, we're doing the podcast things, and now we're organizing the shows. And meanwhile, Dennis is paying somebody like $3,500 a month to essentially be an assistant, but this assistant is supposed to be doing the work that we're doing.
Is this
but
the
we're doing the
assistant
work
that
for free.
is making sure his Twitter looks all nice and blocking all the hateful?
Right, that's it. But as far as like running,
so he's paying
the
some motherfucker to do
and,
this, but he can't pay y'all that are actually. Ugh, God,
bro, we're getting an audience in here. We're actually facilitating the ground. We're building the social credit and the capital of this space where Dennis didn't know anybody. Like, yeah, he's online, but if you walk outside, nobody knew who Dennis was. Nobody knew he told jokes. Nobody even knew that he was on YouTube like that because nobody, like in the comedy space, nobody's watching YouTube like that. Like, so it's like
right.
Everybody's working on their own shit. And if you're not out here visibly in the streets working and having your ear to the ground, no one knows who you are. So it's like you didn't even have a position to pull people from to even have a successful show or a roast battle. He didn't know who to call to have on the roast. He didn't know who to call to have on a comedy show. He didn't know what to do.
Did he expect
as far as
like YouTube was just gonna get him everything? Is that what he thought? Like because he was a YouTuber and slightly well known that like people were just gonna come out in droves? Is that what it was?
I think that could have been some of the thought. And like I said, if we would have went into it in a more neutral, like positive way of just being like, oh, we're gonna have some cool ass comedy shows, just pull up, it probably could have had some type of effect like that. Because the first two roast battle, you could see the audience. There's a good portion of the people in the audience who legitimately is fucking with what we're doing, you know. But by the third roast battle, I'm outside, and a good portion of Dennis's fans and the people who fuck with us are all outside complaining about how they can't enjoy the show. The show is too off the rails. It's too hectic. People are doing some heinous ass shit. They're yelling these weird ass racist chants. People felt uncomfortable. People are like, this is not cool. I feel uncomfortable. I feel unsafe. So essentially he created a space where people felt unsafe at. And this is the inception of the space. And you have
That's
a
that
little
whole
to no
community too.
know-how.
He brought Salvo into that space, which is exactly the kind of people that are like there to just fuck with you straight up, and just to cause chaos, and just to make your fans feel alienated and not feel great in a space that you're trying to make for them. Like that's what it's wild that he was trying to create a space and then he invites I mean, I guess I get it. He was trying to, you know, put out his feelers, spread out there and get all kinds of people involved. But inviting Salvo into your space guarantees that you're going to have a little shit to clean up afterwards.
He was feeding into that drama shit, that Salvo shit. And I for some reason, I guess he thought it was going to like be a benefit. But we're telling them from day one, like, don't worry about that. Like, we're doing something that they can't do. So you're gonna allow them to come in here and
True. You know,
destroy
I don't even think about
our
it that
little
way.
sand castles and the shit that we're building. Bro, we're doing shit that they are not doing. Let's just focus on what we are doing. I don't feel like making videos about these guys who are sitting, you know, in their closet talking about what we're doing. Bro, we're running shows. We're running shows. We had 60 people here. We had 70 people here. We had 80 people here last week. We have people reaching out across the nation talking about flying in, coming to our shows, enjoying our show. Bro, let's just look at the calendar and fill this bitch up and let's just have fun. Like, we're going to get all those people involved. We're going to get, you know, the big name celebrities and the comics and shit like that. But let's just focus in-house because there's already a good portion of people who fuck with you. Bro, the first 2 roast battles, we had people coming from Arizona.
Yeah, I remember hearing shit like that. Yeah, that people were coming out.
Now imagine if we just had a fucking peaceful, successful, fucking great comedy show.
Well, and you know, like, the longer you let that stuff play out too, like, show that consistently you guys can do a good, fun show, you know, like, even people like, I thought it would be interesting because he's a YouTuber that other YouTubers might see some value in his whole thing. You know, like if there was a bunch of positivity, like you said, and consistency and showing, hey, this was fun every week for those guys, then people like, you know, I mean, I'm a nobody, but people like me that do this kind of stuff online would see that and be like, if I'm ever in LA, I want to stop by there and, like, you know, check it out. Maybe I'll throw my hat in, you know, blah, blah, blah. And nobody felt comfortable enough that they wanted to really do that, I guess, when there's crazy stuff going on. But anyways, I think that, yeah, I guess in sort of a wrap up of that, I kind of want to just explain the sequence of events. So you guys didn't really get paid. You didn't get paid, essentially, right? And
I was paid for podcasting on Mondays. So I was only paid on Mondays for one podcast. But if I was there any other time of the week, which I was, and if I was organizing, consulting, producing the comedy shows and the mics during the week, which I wasn't getting paid. Me or Corey wasn't getting paid for that.
So so some things we can clear up here then, I guess.
My phone may knock out. It's doing some weird shit. Like the screen just turned black, but I might have to call you back in a second.
Okay, that's fine.
But go ahead.
Let me know if you drop out. But what I was going to say was he kept referencing firing Corey, and he said he didn't fire you. So you're saying Corey was not actually employed by him, or was he?
No. We were just working there off the strength of our relationship as friends and
so
collaborators.
What the fuck is that shit?
So
why did he
Corey,
even say that?
There was definitely resentment because we seen that there was an economic incentive here, but we weren't getting paid. And you can't fire somebody who's not an employee. But I will send you the text message that Dennis sent Corey, and it's very egregious. And that was the reason why I took the step back, because the language and how he addressed Corey's essentially was a stand-in for me as I was in New York.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever Corey's doing are the things that I would be doing there. He's doing that in my place. So Corey's essentially is me there organizing, being on the podcast, conducting the shows. And on the ground, if you've been to the shows or anybody's been there, on the ground, you see that me and Corey, not that we want to be, but we act essentially as the face of the space.
Yeah,
because Dennis
for sure
Dennis is not that type of guy where you feel like this warm receptiveness. He's not that open. He sits in the back. He's very quiet. And if
I think he might have cut out there, which is fine. He'll call me back. But wow, guys, I mean, quite the interview here. Let me disconnect and I'll let him go ahead and call me back. So sorry to abruptly end there. We'll just look at chat here real quick, but wow, I mean, quite the revelations here, I have to say. Let's see what chat has to say. So, if Kevin was here, he would have read chat. I mean, you're probably right. It's hard for me to balance everything, guys. Give me a break here. Props to Steven for being our guest today. Thank you, Steven. Yes, Steven has been very forthcoming, been a great guest so far. I've enjoyed chatting with him. What a good guy, right? I mean, I think that a lot of us are on Team Steven right now. Let's see. I do appreciate Steven, of course. Mama Creepy says, Ham says, yes, I want to listen to Steven. Honey Bell says, thanks for showing your true colors, not so much neutral as yesterday. I'm not neutral. I'm just, it's interesting seeing new information here. Steven, welcome back.
Yo, forgive me.
No, you're all good. We just chatted a little bit with the chat there while you were gone. So yeah, what were we talking about? That was really what I was trying to get to the bottom of, was the whole, Dennis kept saying, and somebody in chat said that I am not being as neutral right now. And I kind of just want to say, like, I don't know, when you get caught doing some things that are shady, I'm not going to just stay neutral always. Like, Dennis did some stuff that's not the best in my eyes. It's not like I hate him though. And I don't think I'm being I don't think I'm being wrong towards him in any of our conversations here.
Just to take a page out of the book, you could always just say, it is what it is. It's business. Like, I'm looking to be very neutral myself, because trust me, like me and Corey was talking last night, and I'm not going to repeat the shit that we were saying, but
fair enough.
I'm going to keep it cordial, because I legitimately like Dennis. Like, we were friends. We were cool. I didn't like how our friendship navigated, and I didn't like how certain agreements weren't met throughout the relationship of us making something happen, especially during his time of turmoil.
Right. I mean, you guys really were there for him when he was going through some shit. If you count all that,
we were there the
stuff
most
we just talked
when he was
about.
going through the shit. Like, I showed up more when he was going through the drama, just because I wanted to help offset the bullshit.
Yeah. Well, hey man, like a lot of this, I mean, again, we're just talking about being neutral or whatever, but I think that you have a point on a lot of the things you're saying, and I really do feel for you, man. I mean, none of this is. I wish you were a salaried comedian with somebody like this right now. I wish Dennis would have just paid you from the start, and we could all be smiling about it right now.
The funny thing is that we probably laid the groundwork for that to happen for the next Joe Blow to come in there
Exactly.
to actually get that.
So is that something that you're comfortable talking about? Can I ask you about, I mean, obviously whatever Def said about the whole employment thing was all bullshit. So we kind of covered that, but you had said something about some people that you may have introduced Dennis to. What's going on with all this? So he hired some people in?
That's what made it weird. And when my phone stopped acting up, I'll send you a message so you can read it.
Okay. Did you send it on Discord or did you send it in on Twitter? I think we might have dropped him. Steven, are you with us? Well, here, I'm going to try to find the message he was talking about, so bear with me here. I think that technical difficulties. But let me see if I've got the message here. I don't see where he sent the message, so I can't really say what he was referencing here. But yeah, I mean, like we were saying, like, so the employment thing, shot. And then, yeah, if you hire in some people that Steven introduced you to, I mean, like Steven was saying, it didn't seem like Def had his legs on the ground, if you know what I mean. So, Steven found all these people. Yeah, he made all these connections for Dennis. I think that is something to be said as well. Let's see if I can get him back on the line here. Steven. Yeah, I'm not sure what exactly is going on. Maybe he's having some technical difficulties on his end. Steven, are you with me? Well, technical difficulties aside, if I don't get Steven back here shortly, I do want to say I really appreciate him coming on. I mean, all of this has been awesome, and maybe we can get him on again to kind of wrap up the whole thing. Maybe he want to talk to Kevin or something. Here, okay, so I've got the message here, and while Steven is kind of figuring stuff out here, let me read. I guess I'm cool to read this. Let me read it myself before I read it out. Chat. Yeah, it doesn't look good. Hi, Corey. Hope you're well. Moving forward, all shows and podcast productions you're doing at the studio are suspended until further notice. So essentially, I mean, there's more to it than that. You heard what I just said. He kind of comes at him just the wrong way in terms of, we are doing a New Year evaluation of all the productions, and my assistants will reach back to you. So it's like very informal, too, how he's trying to have the discussion with Corey here is the messages I got. He's basically saying, hey, we're going to suspend everything you're doing here, and we're going to evaluate the space. Very informal way to talk to your buddy that's been working for you. But, last text I sent to Dennis, I wanted to talk. Okay, here we go. Here, we got Steven back now. I can stop fumbling over my words. What's up, my man?
Oh, damn. Hopefully, this will be the last time that fucking call keeps dropping.
Hey, it's all good. It's all good. I rolled with it. I understand the technical difficulties happen sometime. So I'm looking at these messages that you just sent me, and I don't want to, like, completely read them all out just because, you know, I don't want to give Dennis any ammo to, like, be mad at me for reading his messages, but I read a little bit of it, and essentially it just seems like...
I mean, those are my messages. Read the message.
Okay, read the message.
Look at the language of the message. Does he sound like someone who's a friend? Or
so can I
even in business, the way that you're going about it, and I sent you that because I kind of just wanted to clarify like how this shit even came about, and to speak on that whole small world thing. Keep in mind, Dennis didn't know anybody in the LA comedy scene,
And that's
or
kind of what I was
hasn't.
saying while you were off the call, was like, look, you introduced him to all this shit. You laid the groundwork, blah blah blah. So like you were saying, he don't have his feet on the ground. You helped him meet all these people.
Right. So for you just to say, well, I'm sure the people that we're working with know Steven and Dennis, that could happen because it's a small comedy scene. Bro, like, no.
He
Lost
wasn't in
Digits,
it. He
was
wasn't
on
in
the roast
it at
battle.
all.
Lost Digits is somebody that I brought to the space. Now he's running a roast battle there. I brought Lost Digits. I brought him there. I introduced you to him. Same with Kevin Quigley. So essentially, he sent Corey those messages, and simultaneously he reached out to like 3 or 4 people that we had on the roast battles to produce their own shows. So why would you, quote unquote, fire Corey, who's been having successful shows for free, producing them for free, making the flyers, promoting on them on his Instagram, promoting them on his Twitter, bringing his audience out. Meanwhile, Dennis is not even promoting the shows. Dennis is not even putting the shows out and posting about them.
Really?
Barely even putting it on his Twitter. So all this responsibility is held, at least the last 4 or 5 months, was on Corey alone. And he was successfully bringing at least 50 to 60 people out every Friday, as well as conducting the open mics during the week.
I mean, that's crazy. And so you say you want me to read these messages then, because I feel like with all that, what you just said in mind, then, and then you see this, you hear this, or whatever what he sent, and it's like, what the fuck, dude? So you don't mind if I read these?
I do not mind. Read the message the way that it is in black and white, so everybody can hear what it is, because that's his voice talking to Corey and indirectly talking to me. Because if I'm second in command or whatever, why wouldn't you reach out to me telling me that you're letting go Corey for what reasons? And meanwhile,
that was another thing that I asked him too. Sorry to cut you off, but that was another thing that I asked him too, is like, why isn't he reaching out? Like, he said he hadn't talked to you, and I was like, well, yeah, if that's your guy, you should be talking to him. You obviously made him feel some kind of way, uncomfortable, so you should be talking to him. He should be reaching out to you, is what I'm saying.
Right. No, he didn't.
Anyway, so let me read this. This is from Dennis to Corey, correct?
Right.
So it says, "Hi, Corey. Hope you're well. Moving forward, all shows and podcast productions you're doing at the studio are suspended until further notice." This is all a weird way to say all this, too. This is like some HR cranked out bullshit or something. I'm sorry. I'll continue. "We are doing a New Year reevaluation of all productions, and my assistant will reach back to you at a later time about future opportunities. Stay safe. Peace." And then he says, "The latest ep of the podcast you filmed here will be dropped in your folder later today." So this next message, is this following up right after? Like the starting January 9th, all comic bookings at the club, blah, blah, blah. This is right after the other message?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so it says, starting January 9th, all comic bookings at the club will have to audition for me first. We are planning a monthly pass/no pass audition with talent. Comics who pass will then register at the club, and Maria will put them on a schedule. Comics who do not pass will be welcome to participate in at least 4 mics in a 1-month period before re-auditioning the next month. Wow, this is very technical here. The first audition will be held January 7th. Please confirm receipt of this message, and I'll have Maria reach out to you tomorrow to schedule the comics you want to come in for the next audition. Veteran comic drop-ins will only be cleared by me moving forward. Also, Moving forward, standard rule at the building is no more smoking inside, both at the club, production offices, and podcast studio. Okay. But yeah, so that's the messages that he sent Corey, which, yeah, what are your thoughts on that then?
So exactly, like, after you've been successfully running shows for 6 months, closing out the year, which is, assuming is going to be the slowest time of the year, closing out on the heels of this drama where people online has essentially turned on you and you have little to no support on the ground. So your online support that you did have, it dwindled as far as how many of those people would actually support you on the ground, just because of the nature of the roast battles that you ran in the past and how people felt when they were in the space. So you're on this reconstruction like curve right now, this downfall that Corey actually helped keep afloat, because Corey was the one bringing in his people. We organized, me and Corey booked out all the shows. We booked out all the shows right before I left. So every show was booked out. All the comedians, the sponsors, the people who was coming up, the drinks, all that shit was taken care of. We already had that shit on the calendar. We already had it ready to go. So Corey was still the one responsible for making sure people came out. Dennis wasn't promoting the shows on his Twitter or on his Instagram. I kept sending Dennis messages telling him, yo, you got to make a landing page for the club so people can know about the shows without having to go to Corey's Instagram. Everybody shouldn't have to go to Corey's Instagram to know if there's a show happening on Friday. There should be a separate page, the Def Noodle comedy. And he just now got that. He just now started that.
I can't believe that he never thought that
ago.
that was a good idea. Especially after you guys would tell him that it was. Like, what the hell? But all right. So no promotion.
So it was just asinine for all this pressure to be put on us, and particularly Corey, to bring out people. He's making the flyers. He's booking the show. He's bringing the comics in, and he's bringing the guests in. And he's pretty much being the face when people show up, because they're trying to figure out what's going on there. So he's introducing himself. He's greeting everybody. He's getting them drinks. And some of the times we're not even performing. So we do all this work and we don't even get the benefit of performing, because once you do shit like this, you're just happy to get your friends on. And it gets to the point where it's like, I don't even want to take up any. Well, it gets to the point where you're like, I don't even want to take up any space, because, we already got 8 comics and Dennis wants to go up. So Dennis is going to go up and he's going to be in the middle of the show. He's going to do his thing. And then everybody else is going to go up. And it gets to the point where I'm like, I'm just so happy to see it come together. I'm not even going to do my 10 minutes. And a lot of times me and Corey wouldn't even perform, because we'll be giving space for other people, particularly Dennis, setting space for him so he can do his thing.
So you guys just, you're painting a good picture here, Steven, that you guys, I think that this is a good way to kind of steer the conversation here towards the end too. Like, you guys, you and Corey, not only were you funny on the shows that you did with him and funny in all the shit that I saw you in, but you did all the legwork too. Like, I think that it should be known out there that you and Corey, you guys do some fucking amazing work. You guys are funny on top of it, and you do all this fucking crazy shit. So I really think that, it's a shame, all this shit with Dennis, and I hate to hear that stuff about the other club you said you were helping with, and that fell through too. I just think that you have the right mentality about things. You want to be positive, and you kind of want to move forward with it. And I think that you and Corey have shown that you guys are fucking excellent people to have work for you and have around and this kind of stuff. So having said that, moving forward, I hope that people come out to you. People come to you for things and want to watch your shit. So I hope that if there's anything you're doing moving forward, that these people see like Steven's legit, Corey's legit. Y'all had to be
Yeah,
here.
no,
Is
like
legit.
we get support. It sucks that, you know, we're always scrambling for space or a platform just to showcase our talent. But no, bro, like we get support. Like there's been a couple of times where I had shows when I was out in New York and people would pull up, oh, I seen you from the Def Noodles show. I'm such a good fan. I love your work, da da da. And they continue to come, you know, support our shit, you know. So I think that was another thing too that possibly created a rift because we, like you said, thank you for the words, but we are legitimately like talented. We work on our shit every day. This is the only thing that I want to do is
And
to
it's
be able to
apparent.
produce this art. So it's like Corey is funny, Niles is funny, Arthur's funny, Johnny Mac is funny. Like we all are artistically great in our own right. And if you give us the space to showcase that, we're gonna prove it time and time again. And I felt like that maybe was a threat creatively to Dennis. Because there was times where, yeah, it just felt like he wasn't comfortable in his own space because people fuck with us.
Yeah. Well, when ego's involved with that kind of shit, yeah, I mean, who knows what he was thinking? Like, damn, dude, I see all this good, you know, shit in the chat for Corey and for Steven. Maybe he was worried in the back of his head there. I don't know. I guess all I can say is moving forward that I hope that maybe Dennis can, I don't know how he fixes things with you guys, but the positive outlook would be somehow reaching out to you guys and squashing the beef or fixing the issues. And, you know, I don't know if that's even a thing that can happen. I don't know. Is that something you would like to see?
Yeah, man. Like, I'm always about making amends and bringing, you know, some type of justice to the situation. But outside of that, like,
it'd be cool if he could send you a little Skrilla too. How about that?
well, you know what?
Thanks.
Exactly. Let's start. That was the whole reason why this conversation is probably even taking place. Because as much as I love the fans and I miss the support, like I miss being on the podcast, I miss talking to everybody, the weed chat. Like I can't wait to figure out a way so I can continue to get that going. So, you know, that's still there. But a reason why this conversation is even happening because like I thought there was space for some type of reconciliation. And I kind of got upset when I seen he was apologizing to Cavos and like even doing stuff that was kind of obviously a way for him to get back in the good graces of the internet.
Right.
But I'm always like, bro, just take care of your house and then you can go, you know, get in the good graces of the internet. Because long as your house is good, you're going to be able to fucking thrive. So it's like you have people in the house that you wasn't taking care of, but you're able to send Aiden Ross like $500 and you're able to apologize.
Whoa. Wait. I didn't hear this. What the fuck is the Aiden Ross thing?
It's just silly. Like
he sent him $500.
Yeah. He's donated like $500 to Aiden Ross, and you know, just like purchasing crazy amount of subscriptions to H3 and like passing them out to fans.
Yeah, that's
and,
fun.
Like just doing
it?
things.
When you were the guy that was doing all this hard ass work and you're not getting anything, but he's fucking at the strip club with the fucking.
We made a joke. You know, I made a joke to Dennis about it because as all that drama is happening, you know, we get 2 or 3 months into the drama and he has this BetterHelp subscription and he's like, yo, I got some therapy for you guys because I know the online shit is, you know, crazy. You guys are getting basically death threats and people making videos. I mean, it got to the point where people was making videos and talking about Enrique, which was like our assistant cameraman, you know, and it was just because like Dennis,
what the fuck?
You know, put him in the light that was unfavorable. So people were just talking about Tiana and all this shit. So he got us all therapy sessions from BetterHelp. And we get like 3 or 4 months into it. And he's like, have you been using the sessions? I'm like, no. I was like, honestly, you know what I'm going to tell my therapist? I need more money. Like, I know what my problem is. And he was like, well, no one's using the BetterHelp subscription. It's like $300 a month. And I was like, you could have paid me that $300.
Yeah, it's like, take your BetterHelp, dude. I'd be in way better help in my brain if you fucking paid my ass.
Bro, I'm on the verge of losing my apartment, which I end up doing later on. I'm on the verge of like losing, like that whole Skid Row shit. As funny as it was, I was like, bro, I really am going broke out here. Y'all making jokes. I'm really going broke.
I never liked that joke myself, by the way. I fucking told
I know.
I told Salvo he could fucking shove that joke up his ass. I thought that was fucking
Yeah, I know. It was not a joke. It was not a joke at all.
Sometimes you gotta lean into it, right? I mean, I feel you. You just gotta laugh about it and just like shrug it off. But yeah, fuck him with that. But yeah, no, I feel it, dude. I mean, fuck your BetterHelp. Help my man pay his bills, dude.
That's what I'm saying. So it just got to shit like that to where it's like, yo, there's a clear distinction on like the work that we're doing and the benefit that we're receiving, because Dennis was good. Even though Dennis was getting a lot of hate online and his views wasn't doing that well, he was good for the most part. You know, he wasn't struggling. So
yeah,
he was still able to kind of like let it wash off of him because the shows are packed. The open mics are packed. And if you can just wade out in this storm for a couple of months, yeah, I'll be good. You know, I got money coming in. I got a loan. I got this. I got that.
It just
so
seems
even though the hate
wild
is
to
going
me.
on, I'll just ride this out and have these other guys work the space successfully, which we did. So it was just weird that he sent Corey that message in the language that he used, like suspended. Who are you?
Apparently he's HR. Yeah, he's like, you are suspended without
And we've been
pay."
working here for like, I've been there for the whole year. So it's just like, what do you mean? And then audition? We got to audition through you?
That is all strange language to
Who
use
are
to you
you?
guys that he's
You're
known
not
forever.
the head. Are you the joke, like chief, like cop? What makes you think that you're going to be able to say what is funny and what's not? Like, honestly, you haven't been killing in your own space. So how are you going to come up here and
Right.
dictate who's going to be funny or not?
I mean,
You yourself should audition.
it's that ego is what I'm saying. I think that has something to do with it. There's a lot of ego floating around.
And the thing that made it even much more frustrating outside of the money, even though we weren't getting paid, was like, here we are creating a dope DIY space, bringing in all types of creatives, from comic to improv to like, we got muralists. I'm bringing in all my friends to do murals and dope shit, bro. Like cool shit. And we're getting all these plans together only for you to replicate the very model that we're trying to get away from. Like you're going to replicate the club model. You're going to replicate like the improv and the Laugh Factory and the Comedy Store, which are the very places that have been very disruptive to comedy at large and not even supporting people on the ground. You're going to do the same thing that the clubs are doing.
Right. That's
Now
exactly
you're gonna
what those
gatekeep.
messages
You're gonna
sound
gatekeep.
like.
Now you're going to gatekeep.
Weird, man. Well, I think on that note, first off, I want to say thanks for being on the show, man. It's been awesome. And I think you've brought in light to a lot of things that people wanted to know. You know, like I said, I wanted you to kind of tell your little thing at the beginning. And then here at the end, you know, where can we find you? What's going forward? What can we do? Because I think that people need to watch out for your shit. And I want you to get your support. I think that you are more than deserving of a little money, first off. Hopefully we can get you a situation where some of these people in the chat can come and watch you do something, or you know, support you in some kind of way. So how can we do that?
Hiring, man? Y'all hiring? Y'all hiring at the Clout podcast?
Hey, shit, I wish I had You're talking. I gotta work my day job after this.
Yeah.
You know
That's
how
the
it
name
is.
of our tour. That's the name of our tour. Yeah, if you want to support, come
Oh,
to our tour.
right.
I still got a day job tour. Y'all have to be here. Myself, Arthur Hamilton, Johnny Mac, Niles absent.
Right here,
Yeah,
right?
supporting y'all have to be here would be great, and just supporting the Instagram and the Twitter. I have some merch soon and some shit for people to purchase, some tangible shit. But yeah, just tap in where y'all have to be here, and yeah,
Check them out
bro.
on
Like
YouTube,
I'm
man.
looking
The
for the same
podcasts are
thing.
funny. The podcasts are funny. I think you guys have great chemistry. I think that the whole I like the concept of a group like you guys. Just some guys like shooting the shit is funny to me. Like the comedy group rather than, like the regular shtick. I love your guys' chemistry with each other.
Thank you, man. No, we love it too. It's the easiest thing that we do. Like us getting together as a group is the easiest type of work that we do because we all know each other. Me and Arthur went to high school together, and we've been running, and doing shows collectively for like over 6-7 years.
Wow.
So we know each other's timing, we know each other's vibe, our energies, and we're all different, but we all click and we're funny in our own right. And it's fun as fuck. I can't really wait for this shit to take off in a real cool way. And it's happening. We're going to Portland, Seattle next week. So if you're out in any of those areas, come out. And then we're going to Chicago and Dallas. Yeah, so we're doing a few things, nothing major.
Well, hell yeah, man. Like I said, I really appreciate you coming on the show. I want everybody out there to check out Y'all Had to Be Here. Check out Spliff Nation is your Spliff_Nation is you on Twitter, right?
Yeah. Spliff Nation. Spliff_Nation is me on Twitter. And it's my full name on Instagram if you want to follow me on there.
Right on. I'm so glad to have had you on and just had, and I'm not trying to be mean here, but I felt some sort of like roboticism to my conversation with Dennis. I don't know. I guess I felt big timed. Like it was a lot easier to have a conversation with you, just natural conversation. So I think there's something to be said about just how down to earth and how good of a guy you are, Steven.
I appreciate that. I really do appreciate that. Thank you. And thank you, chat, for supporting and being in here and fucking with the Clout podcast. I fuck with that, man. And I've been fucking with you for a minute. Thank you. You sent me a message like early on into our podcasting with Dennis and saying that you're starting this back up, so I appreciate that. I don't forget that at all.
Well, hell yeah, man. I appreciate you. And yes, everybody go check out Steven. Thanks for coming on, man. I would love to have you again sometime. We could shoot the shit about some other stuff.
I'll be back. I'll be back under different circumstances.
Sounds good, man. All right. Well, you take it easy, man. Good luck to you.
You take it easy too.
Peace.
Later.
So there you have it, folks. I mean, went a lot longer than what I thought. Steven comes out on top. Good guy. Loved everything he had to say there. I mean, cleared up definitely a lot of the stuff with Dennis and, some of the ways Dennis explained things in the last episode. It's cool to have a different perspective, the other side of the story. It's rare that you get both sides of the story. So now that is all out there, you guys can take that as you want. I mean, all the information's there, I think. So it is what it is. I loved my time with Steven. Dennis was a great guy too, having him on. I mean, what a week it's been. It's been quite the crazy week. Let me look at the chat before we go. No sides. Everyone is human and fallible. Yes, fallible, whatever. I agree, Kia Cat. Everyone makes mistakes. And a little bit of positivity, I think, will do everybody well. And look, I tried to stay neutral. I think we stayed pretty neutral. I just think that you got to look at it as like, look, Dennis gave his spiel and Steven gives his spiel, and you can stay as neutral as you want, but sometimes some people do some things wrong. It's not, bad to point that out. And Steven even mentioned at the end, like, look, there's always a road to mending bridges and stuff. I'm not saying that Dennis is the worst person ever for what happened. And I don't think Steven is either. Just think that there were some things that were wrong, and maybe there are some things that can be rectified. Wouldn't that be great? Help Steven out a little bit. So I think that is true. Everyone makes mistakes. You just kind of got to try to be better. Steven is saying his piece after Dennis had the chance to, and thank you, Steven. Yeah, I agree. I mean, Steven deserves to give his side of the story, of course. Thank you, Steven. Thank you for letting me troll. It was fun making y'all mad. I had a great day. So, yeah, I've seen a lot of deleted messages in the chat, so we'll see. Abby Blackbird, 100,000%. We love it. Everyone disrespect that I saw is gone. Doing my best. Tired of it. Just wanted to listen. Oh, chat must have been going wild. You guys were really testing my moderators there, so I appreciate the mods out there. Ham and Doggo and whoever else has made it to police these the crazies in the chat. No, we love you all. So go, Steven. Yeah. Thank you, Steven, so much. I really appreciate you having on the show. Quite a couple interesting shows we've had here. I think on that note, I will take my leave. Me and Kevin will be back on Sunday, pre-game Super Bowl, right? I think that's this week. I could be wrong, and it might just be a regular episode, but if this week is the pre-game Super Bowl, shows you how much I know about football. If it is, we're going to have some funny shit to look at, relating to some sports shit. We'll obviously do the quick route, the news of the week, but I love looking at some of these, between the extreme sports we do now, like slap sports and yada yada, to all the goofs and gaffs that happen in that kind of shit. The Tom Brady kissing his sons of it all. We're going to look at some funny clips. So tune in Sunday to see us then. Appreciate y'all for showing up and hanging on this long. It's been a long episode. So thanks again, everyone. Take it easy. Peace.